Welcome back to the Kampala Design Podcast, and as usual, I'm your guest, Charles Bossa. This is the podcast where we talk about everything tech. Traditionally, it's a design podcast, but as you know, design doesn't happen in a vacuum. All the different people or teams that collaborate with design in order to come out with very beautiful products, very workable and usable products. All those members are available on this podcast. And today we have a very special guest in the names of Fameous Orishaba, a very good friend of mine, who happens to be a cybersecurity expert. And we are going to have a very good conversation about what she does and how helpful it can be to whoever is listening or watching us today. And I hope that by the end of this podcast, you'll have learned a thing or two about cybersecurity and how it incorporates with other functions, especially design, to come out with the products that we love. So I'm not going to give an introduction to this young lady because I think I may not do it justice. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I think we can take it on from there. So Fameous, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been a long time coming, but at the very last, you've been able to come up here.
Yeah, I know we have had to plan this over a long period, but I'm happy to be here finally. Yeah, my name is Fameous Orishaba, like you've mentioned. I am a cybersecurity professional. I work in a financial institution in Uganda. I live in Kampala and I like it. I enjoy music. I love God. I love to travel and I really enjoy meeting new people. So most times I think it's easy for me to have conversation and to just learn new experiences and to share my experiences with others. That's really something I enjoy. Yeah, and thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Fameous,
Yeah.
I have been looking forward to this, as I have said, and I don't want to waste a lot of time. I want to get straight into what you're supposed to be talking about today. I feel like cybersecurity is one of the things that very many people hear about, talk about, but very few people understand what cybersecurity actually is.
Yeah.
So how would you probably explain what cybersecurity is and probably what you do as you would to someone that has never heard of it?
Well, I usually start by saying we are all on the internet, which is a village of interconnected things that includes technology, phones, software, and all these other things. So, living on the internet, I always relate it to the world where we stay. So, that means that every sort of person is on the internet. People are developing solutions. The medical field is using the internet. Communications, journalism, travel, everything. So while we're on the internet, there is still risk. There is still danger. There is still, everyone will bring the same intentions that we live with on our day-to-day onto the internet. So that's where cybersecurity comes in, which is the security, or it's the keeping safe of all the information, the software, the hardware, which is the phones, so software, the applications like WhatsApp, like Instagram, and then the data, which is the information we put out on the internet. So all those things need to be protected from our bad intentions as human beings who are using the internet. So cybersecurity, in short, is the keeping safe of interconnected networks, including data, software, and hardware. This is from like data breaches, from being hacked, from stealing your identity. I think we should talk about all these other things, the dangers that are on the internet. You could lose your identity. There's money and fraud. There's all these other things. So just like relating to what happens in our day-to-day, That's what happens on the internet, and that's where cybersecurity comes in. I hope that makes sense.
I think it makes sense. There is always according to my understanding. I think it should be limited understanding. I'm not the expert here. I have tried to observe a few things about it.
Yeah.
But I would want to get some bit of clarity. There are certain things that I think are considered external attacks, but there are certain things that are originating from probably our lack of, I wouldn't want to call it awareness, but we have not done enough, and as such, we've made ourselves probably vulnerable to the attacks. How would you shed more light to that?
Yes, that's true. So we have realized not even in the recent past, technology is good. We buy all the recent technology, the good products from the good companies, but we have a risk of users or people. We call people users. So what happens is, even when you buy all the good technology, we have realized that there is a huge risk among our people. And that's where awareness comes in. So what you're talking about is mostly what we call social engineering. And that's where phishing comes in. I'm probably sure you've heard about the word phishing. So what happens is, an attacker or anyone who is interested in your information will manipulate human behavior, which includes like anger, greed, curiosity, or even just our niceness. As people, we're usually ready to help, willing to assist someone, or they'll create an urgency, or they will trick you. So it's kind of a manipulation of human behavior to get unauthorized access to data and information. This can be any important information within an organization. So you are right. It is not necessarily that it comes from within, but it's a lack of awareness, or it's a lack of paying attention. So that's mostly the work we do to try and create this awareness, to keep it at the top of the mind of employees and even CEOs, because everyone is a target for an attack. Yes.
I think if you're to look back, especially if you're to bring it home here in Uganda, we've quite evolved in a number of settings by adopting new technologies. In terms of payment, we now have mobile money. We are also having a lot of digitization in banking. In other words, we can do so much with our phones. We can communicate not just in making phone calls, but in chats on WhatsApp, having to send emails and so on. What are the other common mistakes that you think people make when it comes to their own digital safety interacting with this new technology that has gotten into our society?
So we are very, very complacent and mostly maybe too trusting. But also we have problems like unemployment, which are real. We have people have big dreams to go abroad. There is also an opportunity for those who want to manipulate that gap. So there is a lot happening in there. So I before we even talk about what mistakes people are making, there is a reality. What brings that opportunity for manipulators to even attack us. So we have unemployment, we have false promises, we have false identities, we have children are now mostly on the internet or on their tabs. So you have someone who is talking to them every day. We have AI right now. So there is so much opportunity for someone to fall prey of an attack they have not thought would be an attack. So when we're in like WhatsApp groups, you have seen people sending links of jobs like from UN, or MTN is giving out data bundles, or there is this job opportunity to take you abroad. So that's where it begins. And then we are complacent and we are excited. So those are now the human behavior that I was talking about. There is greed, like you've got this opportunity you don't want to share with anyone. So you end up in a trap that someone else could have helped you not to fall in. Yeah. So those are the other things. Now, when it comes to maybe the mistakes we make, we don't usually want to update our software. We may be lazy to do that, or we don't clean our phones or our computers, or we don't back up our information. Sometimes you think, it's not really necessary. Then we don't use strong passwords. You understand? We don't use strong passwords. We're not trying to change our passwords every 3 or 6 months. We use our passwords across different websites and different applications. So when one application is compromised, all our things are compromised. So when we're in these WhatsApp groups, you click on the link and all of a sudden everything is gone.
Is that what they call phishing?
No, that's not phishing. Phishing is it's sort of a unique way of, I'll send you an email, or an attacker will send an email or a message that is well crafted to make you believe that something, probably you've won a trip, you have, or your password is going to expire in 24 hours, or your bank is telling you that we are changing our system and you need to log in right now and do this. So it creates urgency. There is usually a consequence if you don't take this action, and it's time bound. Those are usually the telltale signs of a phishing attack. So it can be a message, it can be an email, it can also be a voice call sometimes. So you have to be. That's why when you receive a phone call, someone is trying to keep you on the phone for as long as they can to make you do an action before you get off the call. So that's sort of phishing. But those were I was talking about the mistakes that we make mostly. So we don't back up, we don't create strong passwords and all that. So it all feeds into our human behavior, which I think awareness can go a long way in helping us figuring them out.
Okay, because I think of recent I received around 3 messages on my in my LinkedIn inbox. And obviously in the messages was a link. And I tried to observe. I didn't at first click on the links, but I first observed the 3 different messages from 3 different individuals. And in each message it was as if there was this international company that this guy was working with. These are people that I actually know on LinkedIn. And it's like they had gotten in touch or connected to an international company that requires, my services, product design, and that they would want me to get onto their team in due course, and that within the email was a link I should tap to fill in a form. So I was a little bit skeptical, because personally, if these people had anything of that importance, they would first probably call me. So I got on to the next person, and yes, it was a different entity this time that they were, fronting, but the message was a little bit similar. So I decided to call one of them, and their first response was that, don't mind that, I think my account has been hacked into. I'm trying as much as I can to revive, get back control, and then we proceed. And I'm like, how are they able to get into your account at that particular point?
So that's what happens. And I think you brought a very good example, because probably there was a breach, or the user's credentials, maybe your colleagues' credentials were leaked, or they were in a data breach, or they were able to guess them. And so what happens is, because from a new account, you will not even bother opening that link. You won't. But if it's from an account of someone you trust, that's why even people target WhatsApp, because they know that you're not going to question who is sending you the message, because you know these people. Or they secretly get into WhatsApp groups through a link or something, and then they act like they belong to this group. So that there is an element of trust. So when an account is compromised, that is usually the intent. How can I get access to your followers, your friends, your connections? Because that's now the network that I can manipulate. Does it make sense? Yeah. That's what happens.
I think I have another one of I think we all use mobile money.
Yes.
And I have been receiving a number of phone calls from individuals that purport to mean that I have won something.
Yes.
Some of them, the English is not so proper. Obviously, it wouldn't be from someone representing, a telecom.
Yes.
But they are confident enough to lure people into sending them money. Some of them send text messages disguised as either mobile money messages or rotary sort of winning messages. And I'm wondering, how exactly are they able to win these people, lure these people? Because to me, it looks obvious, but very many people fall prey to it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm seeing some telecoms trying as much as they can to. I saw the other time, I think it was Airtel, doing. There was a message that they send you. Is it? There's a campaign they're making about alert,
Yeah.
cyber, security alert, something like that.
Even MTN has one.
Yes, I think you're familiar with that. Would
To
you
be
mind?
steady.
Yeah.
So I think we have to give human behavior a certain level of respect, because it's not that you're not aware that these things are happening. When this happens to you, you realize a few minutes just after it has happened. It's like how you are, a phone is snatched from you. You wake up and you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have removed my phone in this area. So it is human element that I'll give you an example. Someone could be robbed. Their phone is stolen and they are forced to open their phone.
Yeah.
And the next thing the person is going to do is not even going to try and withdraw money or what. It's going to go to his contacts and send you a message and say, hey, I need some help of 200,000. I'll give it back to you tomorrow. But I know that it's Charles. So Charles needs 200,000. He's going to send it back to me at 2 p.m. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to try and first call you so in the moment, I think it's okay. So anyone can fall prey. That is why awareness is important. Because when you receive this phone call, for example, that you've mentioned, we are now almost aware of how they sound, how they talk, and how they are disrespectful in different ways. But there is someone who has probably not had them, or there is someone who is going to be having a bad day, or is going to just not pay attention. And in that moment, they're going to fall prey of it. So they count on the chance of the fact that they have a big number of people to call, and they just need like how many people to fall prey of this situation. And all the money you have on your account will be taken just by following their prompts. So they count on the fact that human beings are always willing to help, or you can scare them into doing an action. When you tell someone your Airtel account is going to be blocked today, because they create a situation that makes you stay on the phone with them for a while.
They create a sense of urgency.
A consequence, and I am the only help you have. Yeah. But I think it's important to also talk about how to know what to do, because you might skip it. So it's very important that you get off the phone call, first of all, especially if you're suspicious. It's very important that you either call the person from whom the message has been sent. And when you realize there's a problem, inform all the other people in your network so they don't fall prey, because they're counting on the fact that the window is very short. So they know. But even to say, this is not only cyber, this is literally fraud and theft. You understand? Only that it's happening over technology. But it's not what we would qualify as cyber security related issues. However, we do take it up and we try to create awareness about it as well. Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how do you even find yourself in cybersecurity? Because it's not the obvious path.
Yeah.
Was there a eureka moment? Is it something that you decided from, the time probably you joined campus that you would be getting into this, or you had an awakening at some point in your professional journey that you had to get this on?
I wish, because when you hear me talking about it passionately, one would think I was meant for this.
Probably.
But I also like the curiosity and the question. No. The short answer is no. There was no plan for me to join this field. And it is a journey that I am taking, and it's a journey that I've enjoyed, and it has become sort of part of who I am. So I originally did telecom engineering. I was in Algeria where
for the undergrad.
Yes, for undergraduation, and I did telecom engineering. I thought that was going to be amazing. I always had a dream of working on masts of being, I thought I would own a telecom company. Jokes. I was very ambitious, but I already had the names, I had plans, I had big dreams, like how other people in their fields are. But the challenge of studying outside of the country is that also coming home becomes a challenge. Already, like you said, we have challenges of unemployment, or we have so many coming out of the university. It's the reality. It's not even just about studying abroad. But coming back, there's a bigger gap to reconnect and reintegrate, which is not usually a clear path. Now you are considered an adult. You've come out of university. Just like everyone else, you get into the pool and you have to look for work. That period was a bit tough. I was able to get work. I did customer care service for a financial institution, and I was able to learn a lot of customer service, how to respond to queries, how to support people. It wasn't very, I can't say that I struggled so much, but the challenge at some point reduces, and I needed to grow again. So that's when I joined sales. I also went to the field. I was selling digital products to schools. And it was also interesting. It taught me a lot. I learned geography of the country. I also learned how to convince people to buy something they didn't know about. And I'm saying this because all those experiences have helped me in this journey that I am on. So from there, I still didn't stick to what I was doing. I kept on supporting at work in terms of the technology. I would come back to office. After my field work, I would come back to office and help out and try to show that I have more to give. And so I think one of the team members, God bless her, she saw me and she asked me to help her more. And that's how I started being pulled out of the field, and then I was given an admin role. So imagine I was a telecom engineer, but now I was doing administration work. It was really difficult. That was, I think, probably one of my most difficult.
Quite a shift.
Yes, it was difficult because it had a lot to do with people, managing people's emotions, making sure they have whatever they need, anticipating needs of the office, and also managing the space. That was hard, but it gave me enough time to study, to research, to think about what I want to do next in my life. And that's where I took that journey. However, when I was in campus doing telecom, I actually trained for Cisco because we have those certifications. Okay. So one of my teachers, she told me about cybersecurity, and she said, I think this would actually be good for you. You should go and do this certification, and if you like it, you can explore this field. But at the time, it was still raw. I was going to be a telecom engineer. What do you mean you want to take me off course? So I did it out of respect, but I didn't take it seriously. So now it's fast forward like 2-3 years later, I'm out of university, I've left Algeria and come back home. I actually sent her a message and told her, you know what, I'm picking this up again.
I was actually going to ask whether you were able to
Yeah,
get back to her.
Because at that time she was now living in Paris. She had moved on also from Algeria. And so I sent her a message, I think on either LinkedIn or I'm not sure, I think Facebook, one of those channels that was still available at that time. And she was impressed. She said, yeah, I think this would be good for you. So I enrolled myself into a school here in Uganda. Shout out to Milima Cyber Academy. Yeah, I enrolled. But before that, I had also done online courses. During my time when I was working, I kept on doing admin work. I kept on doing online courses on Coursera, Udemy. I always tell people it's better you first research what you want to do before you invest any money in it. Of course. So by the time I paid for a course, because it's not cheap in terms of time, investment, and money, you need to know that this is what you want to do. Instead of paying school fees and then you realize, it's not working for me. So that's how probably I can summarize that journey. I ended up in a school, I studied, then I volunteered to also, again, get hands-on experience in an internship, which was really also a blessing. I was taken on by Milima Security. Shout out to Emmanuel Chagara if he sees this.
Emmanuel, I think should pay some dimes for that. For that photo.
Well, Well, you have me here now. But
thanks to him.
Thanks to him,
Okay,
yeah. I think he paid for it.
Yeah, he's paid for it.
So anyway, he gave me the opportunity where I volunteered to work and get hands-on experience, which I think you can't downplay, because school and online courses are not enough to actually get you trust, because the work that we do is a trust business.
Yeah.
So I think that experience helped me pick up even more challenges, put up my hand for more opportunities, which gave me the chance to grow and become the person that you can have here on your beloved podcast.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you're working in banking now.
Yes, I am.
And as you can see, banking has evolved over time. From something that an institution where you could simply store money and then get it whenever you needed it. Most of the times you could go to the banking halls and pick it up. Right now you have a lot of integrations through APIs, integrating with other peripheral platforms, mobile money. There are also these other management platforms that are incorporated into it. You have core banking systems and so on and so much. So from your perspective, how far has this evolution increased the need for cybersecurity in banking?
The growth of technology, every time we have new integrations, new connections, new things, it means risk grows. Yeah. When you talk about banking and financial sector, it's a business of trust. It's money. It's people's livelihood on the line. So connecting into different third parties, because now you've said like APIs, right? It means that we are no longer developing things from scratch. It means that software is made for purpose, fit for purpose. If I can get this API and that, I can build a serious product. So all those interconnections create a bigger, how can I call it? Attack surface, we can call it. Yeah. So it has created a need for cybersecurity in terms of, first of all, from the users, both internal, the ones that are designing, whatever we design has to be built with security in mind. Which is why I think that it's good that you have a podcast like this, because everyone who is designing, maybe a developer or UI UX, they have to understand how security comes into play. Then we come to the product managers, or the testers, the people who are doing quality assurance. And by the time we roll out the products, they have to be secure. So it means that at every point, everyone along the journey is a supporter of security, because we're trying to keep people's money safe. So even if it's not a business of money, and I try to make sure that everyone understands, whether you're in hospitals, whether you're in what, like security is important as long as you're interfacing with technology. Unless you're trying to use paper.
I think we are a long way from that.
So for as long as there is technology in your business, you need security. You can't run away from it. Okay. Yeah.
So from a systems point of view, what usually keeps you awake at night? In terms of your work, probably.
It's always, I hope what we've done today keeps us safe. Okay. I hope. So it's we say there's never 100% security. So that one, if we say it's 99%, so that's 0 point. It's the risk we carry, and it's just how you go in surgery, and you hope. Well, I don't compare this to people's lives, but you hope that this the work you've done is enough to keep you until the next day and the next day. So there is an element of, you can't be 100% secure, and that's something we live with. Yeah.
Is cybersecurity something that needs to be built from the very beginning of product development, or is it something that can be added later on in the process?
So that's where we're trying to move from. Everyone has always looked at cybersecurity or security as a last function, or as a final product, or just something to add on. And I like that you asked that question, because I'm very passionate about DevSecOps. I will not go anywhere and have a conversation and don't talk about it.
Okay.
But you are required to design with security in mind. Actually, now we have terms like secure by design. We have DevSecOps. These are things that are trying to bring or shift security from the right to the left. So you will hear these terms sometimes and wonder, what is she talking about? When you say from the right, it means what you've just said, adding security on a product that you've already done. As long as it's functioning, okay, now can we look for the security loopholes? Can we run a scan? Can we add something to make it secure? Instead of doing that at the end, which is what we call the right, we would recommend it is done from the architecture diagram, from the design, from even just coming up with functionality requirements, right? You have a functionality requirements. This is a time for you to look at the security requirements, so that whoever is going to design the flow or the architecture diagram understands what technologies are we going to use, what is wrong with this framework that we shouldn't use it instead of the other one. So you have a secure by design process, and by the time developers get down to start working, they have everything already mentioned in the flow, and they know why are we adding this password at this particular point, why are we adding a token, why are we using this particular technology instead of the other one. So it is something that you have to build right from the beginning of the product.
You earlier mentioned that regardless of the efforts that you put in ensuring that whatever you're building or whatever you've already put into the market is safe, there is always that percentage that you leave in the gray area. You may not have, probably, regardless of the extensive research you may have done, human behavior, as you say, people are going to react to these, technologies differently. So let's say you have put out a product in the market, and unfortunately, an attack has gone through, and it's just been detected into the systems of the bank. Paint for us a picture of how you would go about that.
So I may not talk about the bank systems,
well, it could be,
but I will want to help someone out there who is building for their clients, and they have gone through a situation like that, right? So I will paint a picture of, let's say we are an e-commerce. Built our platform, and it is functioning well. We've done our best. We've done a scan, and we try to remediate.
You've locked every door, per se.
Yes. And now you feel you're ready to launch your product. And I tell this to so many developers. I have spoken with teams that are as lean as 3 people in a team, and as big as 50 people in a team. So it doesn't matter. As long as the product is going to be interacted with by users, you have to actually anticipate a problem. It could not be an attack from, for example, a hacker. You could be part of a random ransomware attack. I'll give you an example. A pharmacy or a logistics company. Your credentials or your website could fall prey of a web or an attack that is attacking so many sites. And now you have ransomware. So in that situation, you're asking, what do you do? Right? So in that moment, what you're talking about now is incident response. You have to figure out a way of recovering and making sure you go back to business, right? So your e-commerce site has been hacked. First of all, you need to identify what has happened. Where did it come from and who did it? And is it a user internal? Is it an external user? So you can't fix what you don't know. So you have to also grow a muscle of incident response as a team or as a company. And if you can't do that, you have to get a partner and outsource this service. Because people do that. Like, they can be your incident response partner. Okay? So you identify what has happened, and then now you have to, once you have identified, you have to break it down in a process we call triaging or triage. So you figure out when they came in, what happened, which other accounts have been affected, or if it's the website, how was it accessed? Can we figure out where it passed and what happened in that process? So you triage it, and then once you finish to figure out all the necessary information, then you have to contain the problem. Yeah. So these are functions of cybersecurity, and
Okay.
that's how you respond to an issue. So you contain the problem in terms of probably blocking whatever was used to enter, change the passwords of those accounts, or if it's a third party, inform them and let them investigate. So containment is a whole process, and that's probably a whole other podcast for us to talk about incident response. But
I think we're having more episodes regarding this. If Fameous accepts to come back the next time.
Yes, a whole other session. But once you're done with containing it, now you have to recover from. You have to restart whatever it is that it was. Okay, and then after that, you now start talking about the backups. Where is what, and then the lessons learned. So it's a whole 5 steps things. Yeah. So you have to build a muscle as a team on how you respond to incidents, because they might happen. It's not even about if, it's about when they happen. So you have to either have maybe a quarterly basis plan to grow your muscle in terms of practice. So you can simulate these things, or you can hire a person or an organization to simulate those situations for you.
How many organizations, big or small, in Uganda do you think have these capabilities?
I cannot tell, but I think it's a gap.
It's a gap that needs to be filled.
I think it's a gap because what happens is it's an investment. It's an investment that is not easy to justify to finance or to management. Until something has happened.
You see, majority of Ugandans that have medical insurance have it by the fact that they are employed.
Yes.
It's very rare to find a Ugandan individually or independently say, I'm going to cover my family. Maybe in business, or I'm working somewhere.
Yeah.
But I have these family members that are not covered by this insurance, and I think I should cover them.
Yeah.
They feel they don't have the justification for them to do that until probably they fall sick. Is it, do you think it is the same thing that, companies have when it comes to cybersecurity? Because they are able to insure their own employees.
Yes.
But for some reason, they think it's not very necessary for them to, to secure their own systems.
Yes. So you have it 100% crystal clear. And I don't think they don't find it necessary. I think the numbers are hard to justify, and it's not always urgent. Like a business person you've mentioned, they're thinking, my capital should just be coming back in. I should be selling more. Why am I giving money to maybe an insurance company of my child who's not even sick? We even we don't even fall sick that much. That's what people say. Like, we're not a transacting business. Why would we fall prey of an attack? Because they're not seeing justification. So the return of investment is usually hard to. So that's why technical teams are being taught, and in the cyber cafe that I run, we are teaching technical teams of how do you justify to management this budget, because it's not cheap. But also, how do you pay forward? How do you find ways of connecting with finance to make them understand why you need this budget? You understand? So in terms of security, it is after someone has had an experience. And we are trying to reduce that gap to say that don't wait for it to happen. Don't wait for your organization to get a problem for you to have a plan. And that's because many organizations we are profit oriented. But if you're trying to build a robust business that is going to last years, you have to understand that cybersecurity is now among the biggest risks that you have to take care of. Just like you have a fire safety, I hope people have fire safety.
Yeah, we do.
Plans. People have, assembly points and fire extinguishers. People have just like you think at some point you're going to have a challenge with a building. Yeah. So you do security, you have Gadaworld, or you have these other companies coming to keep your organization safe. So it's the same thing. You don't wait for it to happen for you to plan for it.
You need to invest more in prevention.
Yes.
Rather than trying to contain.
Yeah, because like what we've said, it is about your recovery back to business. And reputation is on the line. If people's information is stolen, or you put them at risk. So your business surviving that in this era of technology is going to require you to plan for it. Yeah.
Okay, so I was digging into your archives, I think on LinkedIn, and I happened to land on some of the pictures that you had when you traveled to the US on a cybersecurity mission. And I wanted to pick your mind on what you saw in regards to the approach that those guys are having when it comes to, cybersecurity on a national level, and probably on, the business side of things.
Yeah, so for context, I did get an opportunity to participate in an exchange program by the US Embassy. It's called the International Visitors Leadership Program, short for IVLP. And what they do, they send people from different countries, and we go there and have meetings with different cybersecurity entities. So they have different topics. So for us, ours was cybersecurity. They have women in STEM, they have music, they have arts and other different. So it's a full community of people who have done the exchange program. When I had a chance to be among like 22 other countries. So I learned from those people who are also technical people, but also the country itself we had gone to visit. We had an opportunity to hold meetings with people at the Pentagon, people from NIST. So NIST is a framework we use among some of these things I've just been mentioning, on how people can respond to incidents, how can we create awareness. So it was a very insightful journey. But what I learned, like you said, about what their country is probably doing is they're trying to bridge the gap between the government and the public entities to create trust in terms of, if you have got an incident, how easy will you find it to report? Or are you going to be scared of the FBI digging into your things? And then also creating a trust between the public, the people, the users, and the organizations themselves, to know that it's not bad for us to report an incident because it helps. And we are required to, because that's what the frameworks do. But then also, we learned more about the way the United States is trying to connect with the other countries, because right now cyber does not have we don't have like international laws that, let's say, for example, if we are trying to enforce a law in Uganda about cyber, but technology is international. So
it's borderless.
So there is need for that collaboration between governments to say that, what do we do in case there is espionage or there is state attack? What are the laws around that? For example, when you look at wars that happen, how do they escalate in terms of cyber, and who is holding what information? So as people are building, so we learned so much about how they're trying to create that, to talk to these other countries on how to have those international collaborations. I think they're doing a good job, but also they have challenges in terms of, again, the public sector fearing that, of course, my business is going to be impacted if, for example, I report. Then there is also information sharing, because for government to make good policies and frameworks, they need information from the public. So information sharing is still a challenge, but I learned that we noticed what the government is doing to try and fix that, so that they can get enough information from the public so they can use it to regulate maybe what we do when we're innovating, how to get ahead of the technology, because technology comes first, and then regulation comes later.
I have seen, I think because of their status, a lot of these international global companies are located there. Payments, social media, and also their government is almost everywhere. They are like our international police officers. They've also gotten some attacks. I think I remember the most common one at a national scale being the one that they say a certain foreign entity interfered in their elections. And it's something that has always baffled me, because to have an advanced society such as that, having a foreign entity meddle in their elections at that scale. It's something that up to now I can't wrap my head around it. Are you familiar with that particular incident?
No, I'm not, but I wouldn't put it far from human beings to try. Because if you look at, for example, I may not speak on behalf of the government of the US, but if you look at, for example, in our space, you look at when we had challenges with human rights and how Anonymous was able to come out and share information or to break into sites that are very sensitive to the parliament. And that's what cyber does. It just reduces the global village to say that you're not untouchable, or we can still try and meddle in, because what fuels cybercrime is the fact that I can do it. And if I can try to do it and I probably am successful, that's all I need. If I can try again and again. So if there is an interesting event happening, believe me, there is a cyber criminal that is trying so hard to access something, because it gives you a name. There's so many reasons why people hack. I know we've not talked about that, but there is money, there is maybe state-sponsored hacking. There is even in there's pride of I want to make a name for myself. Right now, if you're on Anonymous's list, we all know that Anonymous does not play around. They have reasons. Even if they're activists, they will have a reason of maybe social reason to hack, but they will keep trying. So even then, when you say that happened there, I'm not surprised.
So what exactly surprised you? There is, when I was digging into your archives, there's a picture I landed on where you, I think you showed the head of, was it Secretary of Cybersecurity, something like that, and he was having these bodyguards moving around with him everywhere, and I was like, dang, these guys actually take this thing seriously.
Of course.
And I was wondering, what exactly, in regards to what you saw there and what you're seeing here locally, what is it that you think we are doing well, and where do you think we are having gaps as a nation?
Okay, when you refer to that picture, I was impressed by how important someone in security can be, especially in a world like theirs. It was eye-opening because they don't take themselves as president or something, but they know how important their field is and how important the role they have is risky. So the security, the not being too much in, even the pseudonyming, sometimes you might not find that person anywhere on social media. So it shows how important they take their work is. I mean, their work to be. But also, I think what we are doing good here is we're also giving space for technology to be, how can I call it? We are regulating, we are creating policies, we are creating awareness. We recently saw when the law was cancelled, I think the Computer Misuse Act, which we've had for a while.
And a lot of people have fallen prey to it.
Yes, and it's been enforced over different reasons. But when it was cancelled, I could see the frenzy among people wanting to know, what does this mean? Where do we go after this? Which law are we going to use? So that we are doing well there. We are also doing well in terms of what the Ministry of ICT is doing, and I think the Permanent Secretary. They're creating so many avenues for young people to come and contribute. And yes, we do have a challenge that most of our policymakers might be a bit from a different generation, but there's still a bit of a platform for us to come in and contribute. And these sessions that we're doing, there's so much going on. People are talking about technology, people are creating awareness of what do you do when this happens, where do you go, where do you report. All that is something that is happening in our country, and that is something to be proud of.
That's good. So you are a community builder.
True.
You're a traveler.
I am a traveler. I'm a citizen of Earth.
You're an advocate
yes.
For security. you give a lot of workshops. You have an online. I don't think it's an online community. I don't think it's restricted to online. The cyber cafe.
Yes.
What part of your work gives you most of the fulfillment? Is it the technical, the social, or this advocacy that you're doing in cyber cafe?
So the cyber cafe, like you said, is a platform we are building to familiarize technology with people, to bring it home, to say this concerns you too. And even if there are people up there trying to build technology, trying to create frameworks, where do you come in? And to show you who you can be and how this affects you. So I am very passionate about it. And I have very many other colleagues that are doing so much good work, creating safety awareness platforms for families, for young people and young women. But again, even in the cyber cafe, we are trying to empower people who are doing product design, developers through DevSecOps, and to say that we don't want to treat cancer of cybersecurity. We don't want to reach the last stage of problems. We want to catch them earlier. And that's what the mission of Cyber Cafe is, to try and break down technology concepts in an everyday language. Yeah, for even executive and the leaders, we want to do workshops that will help them understand what's the return on investment. If I get an organization to do this for me every maybe 2 years, what does that mean? How do I get my money back? Or what does it mean in terms of loss and revenue? So the Cyber Cafe is to try and bridge that gap that people are alienating technology and leaving it to the IT team. So that part of my work actually gives me so much fulfillment, because you can see an immediate shift. When I talk to women who are trying to find their way in technology, that's also something I'm passionate about. Women in tech, women in STEM, and especially women in cybersecurity. To say that you have everything you already have everything you need to build a career, to build something you love. So this feeling that you are not good enough, or this feeling that you're not technical enough, this feeling that you don't know where to start, and it's a space I was in. Like when I tell you that I was doing this work, I was a technical person doing work that's not technical, you feel lost. So much going on in your mind. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to go. So the Cyber Cafe is that space. So it's not really an online platform only. I've met so many young people that are now working in amazing roles. Wow. They are making me so proud. Shout out to all my mentees. I am so proud of all of you and the journeys you're making. And I have to say, they're not all in cybersecurity. I have developers, I have people who are in UI UX. We have people who are data analysts. Some are now in robotics. So I'm very, very excited when I see that impact. So that gives me, that's something I'm passionate about. However, I love my job. I love my job
you
because
have to say that.
It is challenging. And every day there's something new. Every day there is some new technology. There's something going obsolete every day. So it's, I think the things I did in 2021, there are things that I've done this year that I didn't think I would ever dream of doing. Wow. So I would say that it's a 360. Yeah.
So I think I would be doing a disservice to my fellow designers if I did not bring out any question that relates cybersecurity to design.
Yeah.
So where do you see security and user experience coexisting or probably crashing? Because sometimes security makes things a little bit harder for the users. We are always in conflict. We want a certain experience to work. The cybersecurity team is telling us if this is to be, launched in that particular state, it's going to make the entire system vulnerable to attack. And for us, we are looking at it as the most seamless, experience that the users are going to get engaged in. So how do you match that?
I like that question so much because security and user experience sort of sometimes diverge, like you've said. And we have a saying that security is really uncomfortable. There is a small place for comfort when you're trying to enforce security. However, we are supporting a business. We are a business function. As security, we also support your business. So if you are trying to get maybe patients to log in and they take maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just access your service, then that means security and user experience is having a problem. So we have to find a common ground. So I think that from the design, while we are creating, are we creating the strong passwords? Are we putting in the right flows? Because most of the things that are susceptible to vulnerability are flaws or processes within the application. So when we put in the technologies, it does not stop if the flows and the process that we've designed are not the thought process is not secure. So we have to find a middle ground so that if I recommend something, you get back to me with the reason why you think this is going to make it more difficult for the users. And then we can find another control, because we have so many controls. If we have 2-3 controls in place, honestly, we can't fail. Instead of having one.
Is that what we call is it the factor-to-factor call?
Yes. For example, let's talk about a control of passwords. And this is to say that there are other things that constitute a secure design, not just passwords. But if we're talking about, for example, ease with user experience, the go-to is usually passwords. So we have a saying that says at least the password should be 12 characters. And it should allow I hate to leave a set without talking about password strength. So it should have at least capital letters, small letters, special characters, and it should be long enough, at least 12 characters. Then you as a designer, you come and say, no, I want it to be 6 characters. So tell me how someone is going to create a meaningful password of 6 characters that has all these requirements. So you find that now we're having a problem. So then if we're creating 8 characters, for example, we're saying we're not doing 12 because maybe our users are dense or they don't have time to create. I'm joking. Anyway, that's jokes. I hope it will be removed. But maybe we're saying that the users will have a challenge using 12. Then we create 8. But we're also saying, can we add a multi-factor? Then that means someone needs to receive a password or a code to their phone so they can add it. Or can we put a biometrics? Or can we have a passcode, maybe a physical token? So you have different security controls that even if the password is compromised, then the person can't access the token or they don't have the biometrics. And that's how you design. That's why security has to be in the room of design, because it's a negotiation. It's not a dictatorship. It's not a dictatorship that, we are saying you have to do. But also, I think it comes back to an organized a company. If they have frameworks and policies and standards, then it's not my word as a security person. I'm enforcing what the policies are saying. And so we're doing also that with the Cyber Cafe. We're trying to teach organizations how to create policies, because even if you don't have a consultancy business, but you have policies that you've created, your developers can flow with those. And all the security person has to come and do is verify that they have done that. So that's how design and security can collaborate. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. As we come to an end of this podcast, I wanted to also ask this. There has to be a young girl or a young lad somewhere listening in or watching us, watching this particular episode. Maybe in secondary school, maybe at uni. They feel cybersecurity is intimidating, and yet it is something that they would have, probably wanted to get into. So, what skills do you think these people should focus on? Where should they get the resources necessary for them to, understand this? And how does this particular person probably navigate into the job market once they've acquired these skills?
Yeah. That's a very beautiful question. I think that very many people like the end product of any role or anything. And you see someone is a minister, someone you think, when I grow up,
I want to be like
I want to be like you. But there is so much background work that has to be done. So for a young person out there, I think curiosity is your first skill. Curiosity and endless learning, because I've told you the things I learned in 2022 are like my foundation, but the things I'm still learning right now, I feel like I'm overwhelmed because I have to study. So it is endless. Curiosity is your first skill. And then, of course, you have to learn all the soft skills of communication and networking. So when you come out, for example, you do need technical skills if you want to get into a technical role. But if you want to get into cybersecurity and you don't want to get technical, you can still. You can become an awareness person. You can do risk and governance. You can be those people who come and check just to make sure that organizations are doing a good job. And not just cybersecurity, in technology overall. There's so much opportunity. If you're out there doing IT, you're doing computer science, you're doing software, you're doing whatever course you're doing, maybe business computing. But there are other these days there's so many courses that are sort of incorporating. So be curious, learn how to network, then also build your profile. Every little work you do, try and build a profile. Either you create a LinkedIn account or create your personal website or wherever you want to share your experience, because when the opportunity comes, it's not going to wait for you to build it at that moment.
You must be ready.
You must be ready. So you have to have something you can share with someone. Or my usual thing is when I meet someone for the first time and it's in a workspace or it's in a work experience, I'm going to check out your LinkedIn. What is this person about? What are the things that interest you? What are the things that you're passionate about, that you're working on? What are the things you've worked on before? So keep your profile growing and then network enough. Be memorable, I always say. Let someone remember something about you. That, you talked about this project you're working on. So that if I hear someone who is looking for something like that, then I can say, Charles was working on that. I think you guys should get in touch. And maybe I could put you in contact. It's the only way. But if you call me because you saw me on this podcast and ask me whether I can get you a job, I don't want to promise that. I probably don't have jobs to give you.
It's also weird.
But people do it because it's the country we're living in. It's the era. There's a lot of desperation. And sometimes people ask you a question and you have no answer. Because they're asking you a very generic question that they could have Googled. So now you can't help them because they're asking you, what certification should I do? Why do you want to do a certification yet you have not even built one project? So be working, keep yourself busy, research, do online studying.
Quite
YouTube,
online courses.
University of YouTube is really a good place. The one thing you can't stop doing is learning. If you want to succeed in any technical field, by the way, because what happens is you get onto the job, then you become comfortable. And now you can't grow into anything else. So wherever you are, keep growing, keep learning. And if you're a lady out there, you're still thinking about this, one thing you need to do is pick yourself up and start. Even if you're a guy, like you just have to start and believe in yourself, break it until you figure it out. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Do you do mentorships? And how would, if someone wanted to access you, how would they get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Fameous Orishaba. That's my name. You can just inbox me. You can also find me on the Cyber Cafe. We have a YouTube channel and LinkedIn channel as well. Even Instagram, we're trying to grow. We are currently working on our website. Should be up by the end of next month. So all our services will be there on the website. But the product you asked me about, mentorship, we are doing mentorship for small groups. So if you get yourselves like your 5 people, each one of you can come up with maybe 30,000, 40,000. We can do a group mentorship. And I've been doing that for young people, for groups. We also do like the big groups whereby like an organization would like to talk to the people, would like us to talk about all these other things. we also do that, but like that's of course a quote. We do a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have different, and sometimes the one-on-one is a bit more expensive. It could go over 300,000. But if you have a small group of people, you can come together with your friends and just reach out to us, and then we can work out like a product for, especially like for a month or 2 months, and we go through a process of building your profile, going through your resume, getting the conversation, the skills of talking to people. How do you network?
Okay.
Yeah, so we're building a community like that.
That seems to be interesting.
Yeah. And it's affordable.
It's affordable. I think I should get a good number of my friends and we come for
yes, please.
one of the sessions.
Please.
I think I'll also learn quite a lot
yes.
from listening to you guys.
Definitely.
So this has been such a powerful conversation.
Thank you.
And I think we have demystified cybersecurity in a very, very real way.
Yeah.
I hope that whoever's been listening in, those that have been watching us, have been able to get the value that they needed. We hope to have Fameous back onto the podcast in case something else comes up and it needs her attention to come and talk about. We are very, very, very glad to have hosted you today.
Thank you.
And we hope that everything goes well with the Cyber Cafe. And we hope that you keep on spreading the good news regarding cybersecurity.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Guys, this is the end.
Thank you. Maybe what I needed to say is the Cyber Cafe is CYBAKAFE.
I actually had some trouble looking for you on YouTube because I was spelling cyber
with an E. So no, it's cyber because naming in this country also.
I know.
Yeah, so it's a Cyber Cafe, but with a K and with an A.
We are going to link her YouTube channel in our comment section, so you can easily get it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Till next time.